Lissandra, of course, is a available counter pick here, but not a free win by any means here, especially with the composition Frederick Brion are running. But I gotta say, I do think Frederick Brion got the better draft here.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Sounds like Fredit Brion changed their chant from Fredit Brion to just Fredit. It's definitely much easier for a chant, which is a name I always want to call something else.
Yeah, it's really hard to remember. You're like, is this right?
Chem Chain Punk Sword. Chem Sword Chain Punk.
Okay, dive.
Yeah, this is pretty rough for Dudu. He's going to drop down with this one, but he already gets stunned against the wall. Does not have the oranges as Morgan takes a huge amount of damage, but will triumph afterwards. He wasn't going to die anyway, so nice first blood in the top side. Meanwhile,
some split plate gold going down in mid. Definitely think this is still a huge win for Frederick Brion top side because this plate gold is split, and this is, of course, going to get Dudu's teleport out. Morgan still has his first blood gold quite significantly here. Drake lead here means it's tough to actually find any picks. Lissandra is so difficult to gank. She has Unsealed Spellbook, she has Flash at the moment, and ult available, but they're just going to try to set up for a big Herald drop here in mid. This could backfire if Frederick Brion get a flank angle.
Lava getting in there, does get charmed. The bandage toss will be flashed. As that was getting a little bit spicy, you saw that Lava was really trying to stop them from taking first turret blood here. Frederick Brion are moving in a big way down to the bottom lane. And they don't even necessarily have to dive. This is respected by Humble Life. But it does mean that Henna is going to have an opportunity here to pick up another plate as Karis was left alone in mid. But he's okay for now. Morgan, how did this happen? He's diving the turret, and the flash away is going to kill them both because Dudu is able to get that shot off last minute.
Yeah, Morgan wanted to get the flash kill there, but needed that extra autos. Meanwhile,
cleanse used, but Karis just dead. Even flashes at the last second, but too little, too late. Umpty. It's going to be more difficult if Fredit Brion are picking up more and more resistances, so we'll see how that works out for them as another bit of a trade of turrets, but this time it goes pretty heavily in Helma Life's favor because they do have the second Rift Herald pushing on in here. Should get a second charge pretty easily, too.
Yeah, and Morgan doesn't have teleport, so he's not coming down here for the assist. Lava will have to self-heal here, but, you know, at the end of the day, just ends up forcing a teleport out of Dudu. And Morgan just barely not going to get this turret, unfortunately for him. At the end of the day, like, the gold here that is picked up from Hanwha Life, this is the best fight Hanwha could hope for.
Look at Delight. I mean, are you committing to this or not? I think they have to with Delight in the position that he's in. They have no idea, although there are a bunch of pings going down onto Delight, so maybe they do have somewhat of an idea. The Charm is going to go wide. And the Kalista and On Fleek should be enough to take this, but the follow-up fight is coming on in. Lava gets a big engage into that back line, ults himself, and now the front line is going down here. Vista gets low. Another stopwatch comes in from Delight, and down come the pieces of Hanwha Life Esports. 4 of them will go down to the hands of Fredit Brion, and Karis has to flash away.
Has to flash, does not want to get slowed by that Q, and if he got hit by it, he would have definitely fallen.
Other than that, there has been 0. So, think of that what you will, as we're going to see, you know, a little bit of setup here onto Delight, but it's really about the Lava angle as he's going to find it. Umpty doesn't find a great engage. Curse of the Zap Mummy's pretty good, but here comes Morgan into that backline, and he can take a true beating. Will not go down, although they will trade it here onto the Lissandra, and Fredit Brion's engage this time around. Not very clean. Hanwha Life Esports able to pick up 2-1.
And you mentioned it, they're just waiting for a mistake, waiting for an overextension. This fight is very poor from Fredit Brion, and it's at the worst possible time.
Even with
the Kalista, yeah.
Yeah, as the flash comes in, and Henna dodges both and flashes out of both. And just gets the one auto, cashes out again.
Wow.
Will this Draven, and immediately shuts that down.
Well, you know, we were pretty hopeful. Or at least I was. So Hanwha Life was going to be able to secure this Baron and come over here and just have enough damage. I mean, it's only 2 items on the Kalista. It's Rage Blade and Immortal Shield Bow, and just level 13.
As you see, Morgan will be solo down on the bottom side, just looking to push the bottom side himself.
Pushing this really hard. 40 seconds to go. Timing of this was perfect for Fredip Brion. Inhibitor nearly down.
Okay, trying to get on top of Henna here as he is going to be Fate's Called and Demumu'd and Charmed. So yes, that engage will work out very nicely for the side of Hololive Esports. And now a couple of them are stuck inside the base. As Morgan is trying to hop out, takes about forever for him to go down, but it does not matter. Lava just going to flash away here. And yeah, Fredip Brion, you know.
Defensive engages are working out. Okay.
Yeah, he has Zonias, so he will be fine. Never mind.
Yeah, Lava also still has Zonias. And his Delight's got a flank, but might actually cost him.
Yeah, who's flanking who here? Not even able to proc the Glaze, so Augment finally gets that off, but so he's got that going for him.
Baron is going to be started here, I think, for Fredip Brion, and Hololive Esports. Oh, that's a misclick.
That is huge.
That is massive. Well, I mean, they don't know, I guess, at this point in time, so that's a good thing. But Hololive Esports coming over here. They need to contest around this choke point.
Vi spotted. And they're just going to go forward anyway, as they know they're getting flanked. They're just trying to get on top of Henna here, as that is a massive barrel into that front line. Hololive Esports are going to pick up this fight win, as Morgan now is trying to kite this one out. And again, takes him forever to go down, but he's actually buying a lot of time here. This is kind of insane now with the Sterix even procced, as he is finally going to go down.
His GA.
His GA.
Yeah. And Sterix goes down, buys a ton of time, but he's now GA-less. And 55 seconds until the third mountain for Hololive Esports. Those are starting to stack up here. And once again, Fredip Brion just forcing these fights without real control. The Fate's call value was insane.
Okay, well, a pretty interesting moment here where Hololive kind of on backs. They might just give up Mountain Soul, but here comes on Fleek. The damage is pretty huge, though, as that is going to go the way of Fredip Brion. So trying not to make this free is Hololive Esports. The Cannon Barrage comes down, and Morgan is not here, but the kiting is pretty good. That is another massive barrel, this time into Lava, but everything seems to be missing him. As into the backline comes Karis, he gets the charm onto the Draven. There goes your scaling on the side of Fredip Brion. He's got a GA, but immediately goes down. And now Johnny's just hopping around the fight. Dudu's still alive. And that's just going to be 4 kills to the side of Hololive Esports. They can push and end this game.
Oh, man, what a toss away here for this one for Fredip Brion. They could not have been more in the lead. 7,000 gold ahead. They had a Baron control. They were setting up to take Mountain Soul. They end up losing the soul but win the fight, and then they just take so many weird flank engages where the team is not all there, not all set up, not the friendship, not the coordination we are used to seeing from Fredip Brion with a comp like this, and they just get slapped down in the late game.
Absolutely, the crit flank eventually comes online and takes lives as Dudu 10 kills by the end of this one. That is going to be Hololive Esports picking up game number 1. Yeah. 29 minutes was the turnaround, maybe 30 there, and then eventually we just went all the way up. And Dudu did 35,000 damage in a 36-minute game. Kind of insane, and
Skarner will be the choice instead of the Vi we were talking about. Not going to be as impactful pre-6. And I think this means that they're kind of just handshaking away Zeri having a free lane on the bottom side. Feels pretty good for Fredip Brion when you have a Gwen and Victor on top of that. It is a full house for number 9 versus number 10. It's a really fun place to come down to. Even if you don't have a ticket, you know, good luck getting one. Like I said, this one's full.
Oh boy. Well, this is bait out of the side of Fredip Brion as Umpty is down here at level 2. Chani will be punished for his aggression. Not going to get on in there. Loses both summoners, as does Henna. But of course, the kill will go over to the side of Fredip Brion.
Yeah, as long as you see, you know, blood in the water, you feel like you're going to be able to make this all-in work. I'm not the biggest fan of Skarner when you're looking at a Zeri versus Lucian type scenario because he's very useless there. Now, as you mentioned, with the burst damage, useful on other places.
Okay, we have this Keeper's Verdict stolen, but Karis just not going to elect to use it just yet. Waits for the Skarner to come over, and that just leads to his death instead. Lava just going to pick up the kill.
Skarner's still not level 6, by the way.
Okay, it did not get interrupted, though.
Yep, so it's still going to drop, but not going to be very high value here. It might actually force an awkward team fight that Hanwha Life is not prepared to take. Dudu is not here.
Yeah, they're forcing this so hard. The tidal wave does come out, and yeah, the Zeri does get bopped away, but no charge. An extra kill to the Victor. And Dudu's, you know, he's just hanging out. He's getting some plates, I guess. Yep. Some nice vision, by the way, also given by Extendo Beam outside of its ridiculous damage. As here comes the Keeper's Verdict. Goodbye to 2 of you. As now that it's going to be Fredibreon getting to work onto this Rift Herald. This is Meganar about to time out as well. And Dudu's just going to back. So it's looking pretty good, especially in the mid lane here. You see that Lava with a 1,200 gold lead at this point in time. And this is a moment where the crown can sometimes feel very oppressive. It's very easy to proc as a Lucian. Speaking of which, Chani nearly dies. As the charge is going to come on in here, OnFleek looking for, okay, he is going to actually get this ultimate off, but the rest of the team not really in a place to do too much damage. They will just back away, but it's still a 1-for-0 trade in favor of Hanwha Life. However, Morgan is going to be spotted on the flank. They are covering the top side this time, as Umpty is in the pit, though. Keeper's Verdict comes out, and it is going to hit the Gnar, who is about to hit Mega. So that is just going to be a free Mountain Drake here to the side of Fredibreon. Once again, the Poppy denies any chance at recourse for Hanwha Life.
That's what we call the Monka Mega Bar. And with a game state where you're this far behind and you don't have vision advantages, Fredibreon could just 1-3-1 you and avoid those fights and get value elsewhere.
We're just seeing a lot of, okay, another hit away this time, not nearly as valuable.
Yeah, not as
it almost felt like he was just doing it for fun.
I think Hanwha Life might actually just want to try to somehow bait out a trade for objectives on Baron for this Drake. Maybe that's their best angle.
It's kind of what it looks like here as Delight engages onto the Skarner. OnFleek just going to flash away, gets an Impale onto Umpty of everyone, but that was just very desperate as Morgan here is just going to nuke people from very far away. That is what Gwen and Zeri can do, especially with the builds that Morgan is also going for here. You are seen at every turn, so there's no angle for you to randomly get an amazing Impale off, as we do have this Baron started up, and again, you can see, okay, looks like they're going to try to take the fight after it, but the Nami's going to get hooked here, as Vista does not have flash, so he's just dead. As Gar is going to throw out his own depth charge. The Gnar that teleported in, instead of, you know, maybe getting the bottom turret, is not going to do anything, and just offering us more entertainment, so thank you for that, as we are going to have the hook. This is onto a Poppy, who is going to be pulled very far under the turret. Yeah, and that will put a stop to the Baron push.
And we'll put a stop to the Baron push, and, you know, Flash expended here. Umpty is flashless, Hex Flash.
So you can see, well, that's another one, and OnFleek does not have Impale just yet, so that's going to be the end of him. Just trying to clear a ward right in front of a lot of engage. So that's going to be the Skarner going down. This should be Elder to the side of Fredibreon. It does look like Hanwha Life want to put up a bit of a desperate fight here. Dudu does not have the Mega Gnar. Another fantastic hook for Delight. He is just not missing on these ones as, yep, just a bit of desperation. This fight was never going to look even as Chani is being chased down by the very fast Lava, who is going to hit the Q. But Chani will live for now until he's still alive. Actually, until Delight is going to kill him with the hook. And that just might be the end of the game. This will be a full ace to the side of Fredibreon, and they will push the top lane.
Was a much cleaner ride through their advantages than what we saw in the last game, but the lack of an Ahri, the lack of a real pick angle here for Hanwha Life Esports, and the Nami who can't clear vision is so frustrating as Hanwha Life because just never find any angles to try to get a comeback in this game. The scaling is too good for Fredibreon, and it all started with that level 2 from Chani that went very badly.
Absolutely. Well, some sad faces thrown out here by Vista, but it's not going to change the fact.
I mean, Fredibreon were just kind of winning everywhere. Like, the pick onto Karis, who did less than nothing this game because of the game state, is just really it's a sad look, and I hope nobody calls him out for it here because, like I mentioned, we can't criticize Hanwha Life Esports anymore past 20 minutes when the game looks like this.
So many times, so.
Yeah.
Just on many different levels, the Galio pick is actually very nice.
This is a much better draft for Hanwha Life Esports than the last one, in my opinion, and I think that it has some really strong mid-game spikes that
Here we go, into game number 3. Bit of a trade up here on the top side. Morgan getting a very nice trade, and this is as the wave is crashing. Umpty's also spotted on the top side of the map. Karis not level 6. And all of that combined means that Dude's just going to have to walk off this turret. It's very early on. As you can see, Umpty with red buff is certainly very threatening.
Yeah, and this is the power of Xin Xiao into Wukong. Wukong is not going to be able to do anything except defend in a moment like this. Can't really set up dives. Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of early plays being made by them. So actually, it does look very nice. It's Morgan, once again, is really making this matchup look very one-sided to the Gnar.
And you take trades like that with your Mega Gnar, and then you've got your range advantage, obviously, against the Gwen as you fall out of it. Level 6 is coming up. Unfortunately, doesn't hit that while he has his Mega Gnar, but still, Dudu here really taking some poor exchanges. This is what Gnar can do for you. Umpty comes over again, checks to see if there's any vision, has that control word set up, so Dudu will always have to be nervous, always have to be looking over his shoulder and playing under this turret now, so he has no vision around this area of the map, and his jungler is not nearby. This is going to be a herald for plate trade. Delight wants to give solo plate to Henna.
Morgan is getting pretty low here. He's going to knock Dudu in, but not in range of the turret, and now Morgan is very low, and guess who's here on Fleek?
He knows, and he has flash.
He does have flash, but not enough to get away from red buff. Wukong has a nice first blood in the top side here for on Fleek.
Flash is traded, but Dudu's going to get a plate here, so, you know, in the exchange here of plate for plate, it's actually going to be multiple going over to Dudu.
They're kind of looking for it here, but not committing to it, so that is going to be the second Drake once again to Fred Brion. And what is the soul? Oh, it's Mountain Soul 3 times in a row. As that engage, not really going to do much, but they are going to burst it onto Delight, and a fantastic Crescent Guard is going to get missed into a terrible spot, and Henna's having a bit of a Zeri moment as well. The front line here, double kill for Henna, and the rest of Hanwha Life has to run away, and they're not even going to get away, at least Chunny will not, able to hand that kill over to Lava. And that even looked like it was a little bit of a shutdown as 100 extra gold goes into his pockets, and a huge swing goes in Fred Brion's favor.
Yeah, okay.
As now it is all about this mid-control, hanging around the objectives as there's the engage, pretty big, the Wukong and the Galio, but it is mostly onto Umpty. Everybody else is going to flash away, and the re-engage is huge, of course, from the Rakan. Zeri Penta, anyone? Anyone up for some Zeri Penta moments? Because we have... Nope, Umpty's just going to steal that one away, never mind. As it is still going to be a very one-sided team fight here in favor of Fred Brion. It looks like they'll just give that kill over to Lava instead. No need for the Penta, as that one is already given away. Fred Brion now will go ahead and take the Baron.
This was the best fight I think Hanwha Life Esports was ever going to get as well.
Okay, and we're going to try to kill the Gnar here as they are throwing everything into Morgan, who is going to go down. I guess mainly because Henna was not there. And so actually pretty nice timing because it is only 30 seconds until this Mountain Drake.
Yeah, it's actually really nice timing for them. Morgan doesn't have teleport, doesn't have flash, which would have really helped him out there in the initial exchange. So it's almost like someone on the coaching staff, maybe it was Kesman, said, I need you guys to fight a lot more. And finally we got to the first moment, didn't go so well, but the second time they are looking for any pick they can get, any isolated target. And we'll see a slight dip in the gold graph there.
This looks very suspicious. The setup from Hanwha Life, and Fred Brion will sniff it out. Even the ward being put down there in case Dudu wanted to teleport over the members in the mid lane.
Morgan up in 5, doesn't have teleport, but can of course run down here if they do buy time, but they're just going to push mid instead. I think this is the right call. The 3 Drake advantage buys you that opportunity to just trade Drake for inhibitor. You still have soul point. They don't have to fight necessarily for this. They can force a poor fight for Hanwha Life. Look at that death ray value. They have to walk through that.
Their turn very strong here with the Mega Gnar nearing completion, but especially the Rakan. Here comes the defensive Galio ultimate. Actually very nice. The backside is getting hounded here by Hanwha Life Esports, but the Zeri is still alive. Everything else is kind of going to shambles, but that doesn't matter because Henna has full health. And Tunny not really able to get into that back line and do enough damage, as Lava as well is still around here. Actually getting burst down, but not bursted enough, as Lava will survive just barely with that shield. And both Victor and Zeri still 0 deaths. Safety. They will finally push into the second inhibitor. Will they take it is the question. Umpty's like, come on guys, I want to engage.
Baron, 40 seconds left on it. They might be able to, if they can get Morgan over here with an R-bar, try to look for an actual team fight here to end it. But they will have so much control over the map regardless.
All right, and they're just going to push mid here. Nice follow flash, or response flash, I should say, from Lava. He does have his own. They're trying to get in the back line, but the peel is just too much. As Zeri will pick up yet another kill there. Nice follow-up engage here from Umpty. This one is over. Fredit Brion will just clear up the rest of Hanwha Life Esports here. As Lava's like, do not end the game. I have a job to do, as he does not have flash. And maybe Hannah can get to him.
Lich Bane value.
There you go. The laser ends. The follow-up Q will get it done. 5-0 and 10 at the end for Lava. And down goes the Nexus. Fredit Brion. They get the job done slowly but surely. So I suppose that counts for something.
I voted for Zeri because the entire game revolved around her power spike, and she hit it, and
really?
She did a lot of damage and a lot of poke, and Hanwha Life Esports were deterred from entering any of those late game objective fights because Extendo Beam exists, and Henna can skate over walls. So.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason for the POG interview translation, joined by Lava from Freddy Brion. A very enthusiastic fan out there supporting Freddy Brion. They made it back to Low Park, sending us a lot of love. I mean, even without looking at that fan sign, I kind of realized that it's them again because the chant was even more energetic. Now, congratulations on the win. How do you feel, Umpty? Well, to be honest, game number 1 should have been a lot more cleaner. So Edgar was definitely very unhappy about the game number 1 outcome. We had a lot of feedbacks, and I was like, yeah, I should really step up for the upcoming games and even matches for our fans. Same. I was looking for some 2-0 victory today, but still very relieved that we got a victory in the end. Game number 1, yeah, Freddy Brion had a fantastic comp, great gameplay. However, well, the opponent came back after being about 10k gold behind. However, game number 2, Freddy Brion looked even more solid. So, what did you guys discuss after the first game victory? So basically what we talked about is about, don't get overextended, just take fights whenever you are in a good spot. So, game 2, looking at the comp, you guys were able to have a very strong late game, but the early power was a little bit too weak compared to the opponents. So game number 2, in the beginning, you went down to the bottom lane very early on. I mean, I always trust my mid and AD carry, and also looking at the lane situation, I was like, yeah, this is the perfect angle to go for a level 2 gank on the bottom lane. So after you got the kill secured, you were able to create a gap between you and Skarner. I was not like trying to accelerate the lead, by getting the kill. I was more like, I would like to help my teammates scale with my ganks. And then I spotted Skarner in the jungle with my ward, so I was able to kind of chase him, which ended up Skarner not able to play the game. With this win, Freddie Brion was able to overcome the Game 3 jinx of Bro. Were you aware of this too? No idea. I had no idea. But I think it's not about the jinx itself. We just lost too many times. Because we were losing every time, we were having those kind of a weird jinx, which doesn't really, which is not a thing, you know. It's just us losing so many times, and we always lost the Game 3. So today, we were really mad after losing Game 1. So we were enraged after dropping that huge lead. So we were really, we were really hungry for the win. And Lava, your Victor this summer is undefeated 3-0 so far. The opponent took Wukong Galileo comp, which means they can actually attack you early on in the game. Because we won Game 2 on Victor, and then the comp looked really good. And game number 3, you went for the first strike and Ghost, but game number 2, you took Teleport. Game number 2, the opponent didn't have any tool or champion that can actually chase me, but game 3, there were a lot of good chase, especially the Silver with her ult, so I wanted to take Ghost in order to survive. So yeah, and also about the build, game 2 you went for the Crown, but then you switched to Leandri's. You feel a lot more safe with the Crown, but Leandri is really good when the enemies are building a lot of HP items. So looking at the champs and the item build of the opponent, I decided to go for Leandri's for game 3. Freddie Brion definitely stepped up so much starting from the middle of the second round robin. It's a bummer that it started off and started kicking in a little bit too late. How are players feeling about the current status? We also know that our round 1 form and round 2 form is really, really different. So we also even joked about, I want to go back to round 1 with this current form. So if I can turn back time, I would definitely play better. I mean, it's our fault, It's only Lava saying that, He always says, I wish I could go back to first round robin, with this form. But what really matters is, how you end the split, I really want to end the split on a good note. Yeah, and we were so impressed by the stats of Freddie Brion actually, because you were the actually first blood percentage leader of the LCK Summer second round robin. I mean, it's not only me, Of course, I participate in a lot of first bloods, but also other teammates are always there to follow up to get kills in level 1 even early, But I'm not sure about the Drake stacks. Somehow we are just getting so many dragons, but I don't really care about the numbers and records. I think this is a proof that Freddie Brion is definitely getting stronger and stronger heading into the end of the regular split. And last week, it's just around the corner. So you'll be facing against Genji and Leap Sandbox next week. To be perfectly honest, everyone knows Genji is so strong. It's gonna be a very tough opponent. However, at the end of the first round, I said we were the first team to actually win Genji around Herald. Now it's time to win other fights, not only the Herald fight, but others in order to maybe make it happen. I mean, they just gave us a great speech, so I don't know what to say, but I think both Genji and Leap Sandbox are a very strong team, so I hope we can end the split on a good note by performing really well in the next week's matches. Lastly, we have so many fans supporting Freddie Brion out here. Any words for the fans out here? I mean, just like other days, Thank you for all the support, all the energetic chants, and I hope you keep supporting us. This will be the end of the interview of the Freddie Brion POGs, and back to the carpet space. Thank you.